issues, but a case we filed recently against the New Orleans Police Department concerning, it came out of 2007 Mardi Gras, when there were a couple of men who were watching the Bacchus parade, and they were filming the activities, and as part of what they caught on film, they caught what looked like an altercation between the police and a young woman. From the film, it appears to be almost unprovoked, although who knows what went on before the film caught it. But the police took this young woman and sort of threw her on the ground, and when they realized that they were being filmed, they turned around and asked the guy, are you filming this? And then grabbed the camera and arrested the two gentlemen who were filming, charged them with crossing a police barricade, which they clearly did not do, and you can see that on the film as well. Confiscated the camera, and when the guys got the camera back, when they were released from prison the next day, the image had been erased. But because it was a digital image, they were able to get it restored. Clearly a violation of these guys' First Amendment rights to film anything that goes on the public streets.
Is there some kind of a criminal case presently pending about that?
No. The charges were dropped. Were dropped. But we're very concerned about the police. About the
violation of people's rights.
Right to film whatever goes on the public street. Absolutely. And confiscating the camera and erasing the image.
All right. Now, we can get back to Louisiana,
sure.
But I want to talk about something on a grander scale. And that is, before long, we are going to have a new president, a new administration in Washington. We don't know what the outcome would be.
Of course.
But the outcome may very possibly, or will affect the makeup of the United States Supreme Court.
Well, certainly will. We know
that. Supposing that one of the more liberal Supreme Court judges retires and is replaced by a more conservative one, how does ACLU react to that?
Well, obviously we're very concerned about the future of the Supreme Court because it's so close now, and we are concerned about a vacancy being filled by somebody who would be more conservative, and we are concerned about the implications of that for a whole range of issues, including reproductive freedom, including religious freedom, including all manner of things that.
What you're talking about is reversing prior Supreme Court positions on those issues.
Well, we are concerned about that, reversing decades of precedent. That's right. And, of course, there is no way to know how that will come out, certainly not until the elections are over in November. But
the Supreme Court has the right to reverse and change prior decisions.
They're not supposed to, except under very limited circumstances.
When you say supposed to, are you saying by law or just by precedent?
Well, by precedent. There is a principle called stare decisis by which courts are supposed to adhere to their prior rulings. Now, we all know that some decisions are just simply bad and wrong and need to be reversed. Certainly that was the case, of course, with the separate but equal. When that was reversed in the Brown versus Board of Education case, that was reversing a bad decision in favor of a good one. But that's supposed to happen very rarely and only in extreme cases when either societal values have changed so much that the prior ruling is simply not relevant anymore, or when it was clearly bad law. But the circumstances under which the court is supposed to reverse itself are few and far between. But we are concerned that there will be some more aggressive reversals of decisions.
Should they replace a liberal justice with a more conservative one?
Correct.
Well, the people in my organization have a great deal of anxiety about the possibility of that happening. In our case, mostly because of the separation of church and state.
Well, we're concerned about that too, of course.
Okay. Well, I took you away from, you were mentioning some local cases. Give us something else.
Well, we are also very concerned about, on the free speech side, about a somewhat controversial issue, which is hate speech. Which has become more prominent in the news lately as a result of the events that occurred last year in Gina, and the resurgence of the noose as this sort of despicable symbol of hate. And as a result of that, there have been efforts to curtail the public display of nooses and, in some instances, other kinds of hate symbols like swastikas and things like that. And that's a very controversial issue because, of course, we certainly don't endorse those positions of hatred against groups of people. On the other hand, we also know that free speech is free speech, and as a free speech organization, we believe in defending everybody's right to speak, no matter what the message, whether we like it or not. And so our position is that even hate speech is protected unless there is an immediate threat against a specific individual, and that's where we would draw the line. But certainly just the display of a symbol in a generalized sense is something that we would defend as free speech, even though we're very quick to point out that we don't like the message.
Right. So if someone hung a noose somewhere, you see that as a freedom of speech.
Yes.
Just as though if someone displayed a swastika,
yes,
you would take that position. That doesn't mean that you agree with the Nazis. It's
That's
just
right.
that our Constitution does provide for the freedom of speech.
They too have the right to express their opinions. Absolutely.
But when you take those positions, that is what gets the public quite angry at ACLU. Isn't that the case?
Well, there are people who don't agree with us and who don't like it.
I think you're putting it very mildly.
Well, we take controversial positions.
There are people who who enjoy taking pot shots. I don't mean with a pistol, but
right.
Who really put the ACLU on the spot, and I know that Joe Cook took a lot of abuse, and here you are in a position also to get some abuse. We've got about a minute left. If something else you would like our audience to know.
Well, just that we very much appreciate the support that we've gotten over the years from your members, and I certainly hope to continue what has been, I know, a very productive relationship between our two organizations. We have a website. It's laaclu.org. If anybody wants more information about who we are and what we do, that's where you can find it. And I know we'll be doing more things together in the future, and I'm just glad to be here.
Okay, say the website again so people might want to write it down.
It's www.laaclu.org.
All right.
It stands for Louisiana ACLU, laaclu.org.
All right. And the new executive director is Marjorie Esman. We congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
We thank you very much for being on our show with us today. And so we just hope that you folks who are watching will join us again for our next program.